All right. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Hey, y'all. Welcome to this week's episode of Ducking Realitea. In the pond with me today is my friend, Brianna Devlin.
Hello.
Hi. I'm excited to talk to you because, one, I don't really know your story, but we met at Fireside. Fireside's like the through line through this podcast. It should probably be called Fireside something.
It is like the meeting point of the West End. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, it is. And I think because Sandy's such a community person and she does so many community things, like it brings in such a wide swath of people.
Yeah.
Which makes it, one, a good place to hang out with because you're going to find your people. Even if like the regulars are like, you're like, oh, I like them. But like then there's another group that you're like, oh, wait, that's like people I really hang out with. And you get to meet so many different people.
Yeah. Like I've made so many good friends there. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so you work across the street.
Yes.
At the Pinball Museum.
Yes.
And I still haven't been in there. I almost went in today and I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to learn about it from Brianna first and then I'll go visit her one day in there and like get the full experience.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I'll give you the tour.
Yeah, I can't wait. Because I thought you were doing something with, you guys just had a celebration.
Yeah, we did. So I've been there for 6 years and I've been kind of, moving up in the world, right? And there and
moving up in the Pinball Museum world.
Yeah. And I've been part of and we have, it's a museum, so we have memberships. And one of the people who's a regular member there came to me and was like, I have this fun idea of doing like woman and non-binary person pinball tournaments.
Oh,
because we love pinball, but it can be one of those male-dominated fields, right?
Yeah.
So we were like trying to figure out ways of like, how can we encourage more women to join the space? And so, yeah, we've had like maybe 4 or 5 in the past, like in 2025, women's tournaments, and like at least 20 to 30 people have shown up every time.
Oh, wow. That's a good turnout.
It's a really great turnout, and it's been so much fun, where in December we had kind of an ugly sweater themed like costume contest. So it's like we played all the rounds of pinball, and then we went and turned, and like, a bunch of people came up in the ugly sweaters and like did a costume, like voted, and I lost by 1 dang point. And it was so disappointing. But also the other person's sweater was just so fucking good that when she walked into the museum and I looked at her sweater and I was like, damn, she's going to beat me in this contest. I saw and I just knew. So I was surprised it was only 1 point.
Well, that's going to be like kind of like a little feather in your cap that you almost beat her.
Uh-huh. And the one we had before that was we had a Dolly Parton.
That's the one I was
thinking of. Costume contest, and it was so fun because like everyone showed up in like blonde wigs and all this, and then someone came dressed as Elvira and won it.
Oh,
and I was like, I love that you won the Dolly Parton costume contest. Like that feels right.
Yeah, that feels very, in the best way, like dorky thing to like do. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
I love a dorky event.
Absolutely. And I was just texting the person who's kind of helping me with these, and we're going to have one coming up on February 15th.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be we're calling it the Galentine's one because, Valentine's Day. And so it's like kind of our little thing is like bring Valentine's for people, right?
I like it.
Which is fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So so you've been there 6 years. So tell us the story of how do you become like involved in the Pinball Museum? How do you because you're from Alameda. Well, yeah, give us a little bit of your story.
Yeah. So
tell me everything.
So technically I was born over in Pennsylvania. It was Delaware County. That's what it says on my birth certificate.
Okay.
No city name, just Delaware County. But I moved out to California when I was 7 months old. Like I'm the oldest child, and my parents like got job offers and stuff that just made sense to move out here for their growing family. And
you're the oldest of how many?
3.
Oh,
so
nice.
I got 2 younger sisters, sweet little angels.
All girls.
Wink, wink. I'll fight them, but I love them. I'll fight for them.
Yeah, you'll fight for them or fight them, whichever one's necessary.
Yeah.
But fuck anyone else if they try to fight them.
Yeah, no, those are like my bitches. Don't fuck with them. No. And yeah, like my we were living in San Jose for a few months. I obviously don't remember any of this because I was 7 months old, but my mom was working in Alameda, was driving around, and I was like, wait, shit, this is a really cool town. Like, this is great. And they moved there, like rented for a year, and then bought a house. And then
Nice.
both my sisters were born in the Alameda Hospital.
Oh.
One of my favorite fun facts is that the Alameda Hospital used to have a maternity ward, and my youngest sister was born a week before the maternity ward closed.
Oh.
And I just kind of love it of like, oh, you are a true Alameda, and you got in right by the slip of the whatever. Like,
or they were like, after this one, no more.
no more.
This one's going to be trouble.
Cool. She's too cool. They're like, we can't top this kid.
Yeah. They're like, she's too good. That's the last Alamedian.
But yeah, I grew up here, went to elementary, middle, high school here. I even went to college at Alameda, you know, so.
It had to be a really kind of idyllic childhood growing up here because it's such a cute little island and it's.
It was one of those things of like, not to be privileged, but like, as I grew up, it was just like, oh, we are not experiencing so much of like the scariness and the crime and the this and that of like whatever everyone else is. Like, I remember in high school, it was like a couple of times I was hanging out with my friends and the police came, but it was more of a like, hey, you've been loitering on this spot, just move on to the next spot. Like, you know, like they weren't really.
Yeah, they were like, you guys are just hanging out, but like, all right, you've been hanging for a couple hours now. Go take a walk and come back.
Yeah. And it's just like such a fun town. And it just, I don't know. Yeah. I've heard people call it like very storybook, and it makes me laugh because I'm like, it is. But with the Pinball Museum, it goes back to when I remember elementary school. It was like, I don't know if like any of your schools did this, but it was like they would have like the fundraising auction night for parents.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a couple of the auction items you could get was like, oh, this teacher will take a handful of kids and like go hang out at the Pinball Museum for a few hours. And I just remember being so goddamn jealous of the kids who won that, where I was like, I want to go hang out with the cool teacher at the Pinball Museum. Like, F you, you know? Like, come on now.
How come I didn't win it?
But like, yeah, my dad, like, I think he took my middle sister the most to the Pinball Museum, but I think I definitely went with him once. And I also remember very specifically, it was after I was 16, I was in high school because I had my driver's license, and my mom has this like group of friends that they just hang out, do all this stuff together. They're all aunties, you know? Yeah. And one of them was turning 50, and the Pinball Museum was like putting on some like prom event thing, whatever, in the museum. And they all went to Goodwill and bought these like glamorous little dresses, and because I had my license, so I was the one that got to drive them and drop them off.
You were their DD.
Yeah, and it was like one of those things though that I was like, this is like, I mean, not only did I already know the Pinball Museum is a cool place, but I'm like, I didn't like, it's like such a like place where people can gather, and like that's really when I first felt it. I was like 16, 17, and then it was, you know, through the years, like I've always been into history and museums and stuff. And it was my senior, like I was going into my senior year of my undergrad, in which I got a degree in history. And I had applied for a job at the Oakland Museum.
Oh, okay.
Because I had volunteered there for about a year. But it was like literally my schedule of like classes just did not sync up. And they literally told me explicitly of like, we very much want to have you, but like it just the hours we need you doesn't
They're
work.
like, can you change your class schedule by chance? And you're like, no.
And so like, I remember like I was so kind of like not devastated, but of like, oh dang, I was really hoping this would work out kind of feeling.
Yeah, of course.
And so I like furiously went onto the internet and was like typed in museums near me, and like the Pinball Museum popped up, and I was like, oh, should I remember that place? Like, I've been there. Like, my family loves that place. So I, like, sent an email with my resume and blah, blah, blah. And, like, within a couple hours, it was Darcy, who was, I think, an executive director at the time. And she emailed me back and was like, let's get you in for an interview. And we sat and chatted for a couple hours. And I don't know why I remember this, but I was wearing one of my favorite shirts that was like pink and had these polka dots, and I like always felt good in that shirt. And I got the job, and I have started like September 2019, and I've been there ever since. And
wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
And I would like, yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And that has led you to now get your master's.
Yeah.
Right? You're working on your master's in museum.
Yes, museum studies.
Museum study. And I was talking to Linda Ashbury today. She used to be the head of WABA. Yep. So she was like, oh, what are you doing today? And I was like, oh, I'm just at the gallery. And then I'm interviewing Brianna Devlin from the Pinball Museum. And she was like, oh, that's going to be interesting. I'm like, yeah, she's going to school for museum, like, exhibits. And I was like, and I've never met anyone that's done that.
Yeah, I feel like most people I talk to about being in grad school, they're like, museum studies? I didn't know about that. I'm like, yeah, I'm the little weirdo who would know about something like
But it's
this.
actually like, and it would make sense that you'd have to go to school to learn about how a museum works and like how to set things up. But it's such a niche like thing that you don't meet a lot of people in.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where like I knew I wanted to work in museums from like a very young age, but it was one of those things that it like took me years to get the confidence to actually like get the step in the door. Like I remember very much I was 11 years old, and I was very lucky to get the chance to travel to Italy with both my parents and my grandma. And so it was the four of us all in Italy, and we're exploring Venice and Rome and Pompeii and all this stuff. And it was like, I very much remember at 11 just going around and being like, I love history. Like, this is like, I want to be in history forever. Like, I love this. And then when I remember very specifically when I was 17, we were visiting family on the East Coast, and, you're driving around everywhere. Yeah. And we took a pit stop at the Newport Mansions in Rhode Island.
Oh, yeah. I'm very familiar.
And we were walking around, and it was one of those things where I remember just looking around of like, the way they have preserved these places, like, is incredible. And I remember I think it was the Breakers is one of the mansions. And it was like, I think that was the one I was walking around and just being like, this is what I want to do with my life. Like, this is what I want to do with my life, and having that feeling of like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. And so got an associate's degree in history, bachelor's degree in history, all with the intention of like museum one day. And then unfortunately, when I graduated with my bachelor's degree, it was May 2020, which, as we all know, was like such a great time.
So fun to be out everywhere.
World. It was the best. And I remember it made me feel really nervous because it's like I was so excited where I had gotten the job at the Pinball Museum like that fall. So I was like, look at me. I'm working in the field I want my senior year. And then COVID hit, and I was just like, everything is fucked.
Yeah, nobody can play pinball.
No, like, and it was like museums are closing, and or not really closing, but like shut down for a while.
And out here, everything was closed down for so long.
And I get it because it was like, you go out and everyone's gonna die, and I like it totally makes sense. And I like no hate to anything that happened, because it was like we are protecting the people, which is what is most important, but also my dreams, Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, because I moved to California in February of 2020. I came out and was like, oh, I'll come out for a while, see if I like it, and then the whole world shut down like a month later. And I was like, I'm going to come to California. I'm going to like date for the first time in like 17 years. You know what I mean? Like I was like all like ready. And then it was like the universe was like, no, bitch, sit back down. You are not ready. And you are so not ready. We're going to shut the whole world down. Like, like I was like, all right, never mind.
Oh my God. It was like, that was hard because it was like, I remember being like, how, like, I've always dreamed of working in history, in museums, in public history sites, all of that. Like, how the hell am I going to make it work when everything is closed? Like, what am I going to do? And I because I remember it was my birthday's March 12th, which is like, the day the world shut down, right? Yeah. And my shifts were Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I remember walking in on Friday, and my manager, who was like, at that point, never there because like she trusted me to open up the place. Right. I saw her standing there, and as I'm walking to the end of the room, I know like that sinking feeling of like, I know. And she walks up and she's like, I'm so sorry, we're gonna have to shut down. And I was just like, I don't know where to go from here. Like, I'm gonna finish my semester and whatnot, but like also like I've been working for this for 6 years. Like, what do I do? And then the Pinball Museum was closed for 15 months. And it was like, I think April, May, when they started like sending emails out to people of like, hey, we're thinking about reopening. Would you be into it? And I jumped on that because I'm like,
yeah, you're like, take me back.
Yeah, I was like, I'm lost in the sauce of like dumbass retail jobs where I don't love it, but it's like kind of the only thing available right now, you know? And so I came back and it was like, I was a little bit subdued in a way of like, it's just like I saw how the whole world shut down and I'm anxious and nervous that like this can happen again. Like, you know, like how, like if this happens again, like then it's just such an unstable industry. And it's like, then I'm like questioning all my life choices. But we like thrived. Like it was a slow start for sure, kind of getting back on the whatever. And during that time, like I was just like, you know, front desk person, but like I was so committed to like being like, I want this space to come like be a loving, thriving place, you know?
Yeah.
That after a year, I got promoted to like a kind of a staff museum manager of like kind of a higher role. And like, that's like when I think the fire in me got reignited because I was like, okay, like we've seen us, it was slow at first, but we're coming back for real. Like they're giving me more responsibilities because they see the passion I have for this. And that was 2022, and then it was late 2024. They were kind of like, I was whispering to them of like, hey, I'm thinking about like going to grad school for like public history or museum studies or something. Like I need a letter of recommendations. And they were kind of whispering back of like, cool, we need to replace this exhibit. You want to work on it? Of like, we see you wanting to go into this space. Like, let's open up the space for you to do so, which is like really cool. Like that was like an amazing of like,
well, yeah, it's like you're helping them, they're helping you.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you've been doing such a good job. And that's how jobs should be.
Yeah. Like they totally recognize like the work and the whatever that I was putting in. And like, that was a really cool experience of itself of like, I was sending applications to a couple different schools. I didn't apply to many for my grad school, but I was like, we need backups, you know?
Oh, yeah. I love a backup.
And during that time, I was working on like curating and researching and writing an exhibit that got set up and put out in June of last year. It was really cool. It's Beyond the Backlash, Woman Who Shaped Pinball. And it was just kind of about a lot of like, it started out centered around one game, and it was like we were sitting there figuring out like, okay, how do we expand this so it's not just one game?
Okay.
And it was like, the game was Xenon, and it was well known for being like one of the first games that, like the second game that had like speaking voices in a pinball machine, which was like innovative of the time. And it was the first one with a woman, and it was Suzanne Ciani who like did like the sound effects and the speaking. It was like really cool, really revolutionary. And we like expanded it to being like talking about the many different women who were like artists who were like, if you've like, you know, I'm sure you've played pinball where it's like the back glass and the like play field and like all the elements of the art and the this and the that of like, we like, you know, I got to like research and write and like find out probably like all these women, like fantastic women who like did the art and these things. And then being able to like, we did another one about like the engineers and like, oh, there's a couple women who just got patent after patent on like their engineering designs on these games. And I'm like, you're a phenomenal woman. Like, I'm so impressed. Like, I'm so amazed and inspired by you. And we had one on like pop culture. So we like wrote about Dolly Parton in there because Dolly Parton has her own pinball game. And she even had some like say on like how
the art and stuff.
And so it was just like really cool. And that was like, while I was working on that is when I was doing the like applications for grad school. And it was got accepted, and then like my exhibit had its grand opening, and it was just such a wonderful like
Oh, that's a great
kind of
full circle moment.
yeah, of like I feel like this is really what I meant to do. Like this is really where I'm like supposed to be like doing this kind of stuff. And it's just was so cool because it was like I don't like one of those inexplicable things of like this is how life's supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's like the universe was aligning everything for you. Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like debating between my grad school programs, between museum studies at San Francisco State and a public history at Sac State. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted to do Sacramento State a little bit more, mostly because one of my friends did that program there, and she was the one who like inspired me to even apply to grad school. So I was like, yeah, Sac State. But then I am glad, like their program seems amazing, and like, you know, one day when I win the lottery, I will be doing that program, you know. But I'm glad I did with the San Francisco State Museum Studies program because like now that I have one semester down, it's just like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like this just feels right. And I only took 2 classes the first semester because I'm like, it has been 5 years since I've been in school. Like I need to ease into it because what's a sentence? How do you form a paragraph? Like I don't know. So I needed to like a minute to just get back into it.
Oh, I can't even imagine going back to school now.
It was, oh my God, crazy. Especially because like it was clear that like in some of the classes I was probably a little bit older than some of the people. So like I had my own anxiety about that, of being like, oh, I'm like the fucking grandma of the group, like,
and you're not even 30.
I know, which is the worst part, right? But I was one of those, like, I don't know, I felt old and I was self-conscious about it, but like as it comes out, like you're like, I have all this life experience, I have all this like museum experience, so it's just like I was able to just come out and just be so confident in that throughout the semester of just like I know what the hell I'm talking about, you know?
Well, yeah, because you've been the kids in your class are you know, they're probably in their early 20s, but they are kids and they don't have the experience you have. So they might be good at going to school, but you're like, oh, I've already done this. Like, oh, you're like reading about stuff that you're like, oh yeah, I just put together an exhibit similar to that where we research the history of who these women are. You know, like you've done the work already. Yeah. So you have that to pull from.
And it was like one of those things where it's like, you kind of forget about that you did all that until like it becomes relevant. And then you're like, yeah, I did all that. Like, whoa, look at me.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I was going to say, I was just helping someone with an event the other day and she was so stressed out about it. And I was like, well, here's my checklist. And I'm like, just go through it like this. And like, we like went through it and she was like, oh my God, this whole event's like basically planned now. And I'm like, yeah, it's not that hard. And she was like, no, you don't understand. Events are so hard. And I was like, they're really not. And she's like, you plan them all the time. And I was like, oh yeah, I do. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's second nature to me. Like,
that's how I was. Where I'm like, oh yeah, setting up an exhibit is so easy. Oh yeah, you guys haven't done this before. Like, sorry.
You're like, yeah, sorry, I have 5 years experience doing this.
Yeah. Although one of my favorite things was, you know, because with being an adult and having adult life experience, you make a lot of friends. And I have like artist friends and stuff who have had different career paths and all of that. And one of my favorite things was I had exhibition design class, which was not technically museum studies. It was in the art department. So it was a lot of like art department students, which made me even more anxious because I'm like, I don't know how to paint, like, and you guys can do that. Like, I'm like terrible at this. But like, we'd be having these conversations as we're, you know, like putting vinyl on the wall or like, you know, hanging a picture or whatever we need to do. And we're talking about like their hopes and dreams and stuff and like where they want to go with their art. And it was kind of cool of being like, oh yeah, like this is what my friend does. Like my friend does this and that. And it was like kind of cool to be like, oh my God, they would sit there and be like, I never thought about that. And I'm like, oh my God, look at me giving life advice. Like, oh my God. Like,
I love this for you.
Yeah. Like, I didn't know I was capable of that.
You're like, wow, I'm super smart.
Yeah. Oh my God. But it's like, it's just fun. I feel like I've just always been like, because I'm very grateful. I know it's a privilege to have been a kid who went to a lot of museums, a lot of like historical sites and stuff growing up, but it was like that's what really brought in the passion and just like the love for wanting to do this kind of for my career and to like go down this path. And it's just like, yeah, with like the Pinball Museum, where it was like started as just a front desk guy, became a manager, like was able to curate stuff. Like now I'm working on, like, we do self-guided tours that you can like pick up and walk around the museum. And like,
that's fun.
I literally just had a meeting today with one of my coworkers about it, and we were like reviewing the final of one of the tours, and it was like, this is like, it just feels so, we were talking about, I'm like, this feels so complete and like nice to be able to be like, this is what we've been working for, and it's just so satisfying.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do the tour.
Oh my God, hell yeah.
And then you guys supply pinballs to other places, right?
I know for the longest time, it's there, I call it the pre-COVID, post-COVID era.
Oh, okay.
So I know pre-COVID, we did like loan out a lot of games, and I know Fireside was one of the places we did it. And it was like kind of, they rent the game and pay us half the profits or whatever they agree on. And like, you know, that the regulars at the bar can go play it. But I don't know if we do that so much now, just because.
Because in my brain, the pinball machines at like Lucky 13 and at Almanac, in my brain, they belong to you guys.
Honestly, in my brain, all pinball machines belong to the Pinball Museum.
It. All right, see, my thinking is correct.
We own pinball. We are pinball, okay?
Is there a lot of pinball museums in the country?
I think so. I think like officially we're the only like non-profit pinball museum, but there is a lot of like arcades that are very like heavily focused on pinball.
Okay.
Like even just in the Bay Area, there's, and like a lot of, very interestingly, a lot of them are kind of like have a weird hybrid of business where like there's a free gold watch in San Francisco in like the Haight-Ashbury district, and I think they started as a print shop.
What's a free gold watch?
It's literally like it's in like the Haight-Ashbury. They have like a print shop in the back and like maybe like 70, 80 pinball machines.
Oh shit, that's a lot.
And it's like they started as a print shop and then like got a handful of machines, and then people loved coming by and like playing it. Then now they're like mostly pinball. It's like, you know, a pinball place with a print shop problem kind of thing, you know? And there's another place in Concord called the Flipper Room where it's similar, where it's like, not sure if they're quite a print shop or whatever, but they like started out as another business and like really incorporated pinball. And I feel like there's a lot of places across the U.S. that are like that, of like, oh, the people like the pinball, you know?
Right.
And there's definitely some places that are, I know Portland is a big, and like Oregon is a big hot spot for pinball, where they have a place called Next Level, I believe it is, that has like 100, 200 something pinball games in there, like a crazy amount, which is just so cool. But they're like, you know, kind of more arcadey David Buster level, but it's like still just, I think it's awesome of like how much people love pinball. And like I think like part of what some of the self-guided tours we're working on right now is just like the history of pinball and this and that, and it's just like kind of cool of like, you know, me and my coworker are talking of like, we're just in such a renaissance right now of like people really, especially after COVID, of like people just wanted something to do and wanted something like social interaction that wasn't too in your face, like very casual. And like we really became a hub for that. Like that was really cool to be a part of, because it was like, yeah, like we are a museum and we want you to know the history, but also like we're an interactive museum. Like I relate us to the Exploratorium a lot, of like you can put your hand on these things and really get to experience it. And yeah, it's just cool to be kind of somewhere where it's like that's the center of that. And like that is like why I'm going to museum studies program, because I'm like, I want to work at these institutions and these sites that like really facilitate like a community and a connection, but while you're still learning and engaging and all of that. Yeah.
So have you become like an expert on pinball?
I I would like to say I've become an expert on the history of pinball.
Mm-hmm.
Am I good at playing pinball? Not totally.
Okay.
I feel like I try to play as best I can, but I am just like, I don't know what is wrong with me, but I'm like, it's like playing sports. I'm just bad at it all. Like, don't ask me to like play sports. Don't ask me to play pinball. I just live here. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I just learned about them.
Yeah.
What is the history of pinball? Like, where did it start from?
So it's like, that's really interesting it kind of started maybe like 1600s, 1700s.
Oh shit, that's way older than I thought it was going to be.
But like, it's not the pinball we know today. It was a lot
no
of
electronics, right?
Yeah, it was like a lot more of like lawn games of like, you know, the kind of
like croquet kind
of stuff, and like that's where was like the inspiration.
Oh, interesting.
And then it was like the late 1800s. I want to say like 1880, 1870s. I think it was maybe 1869.
Okay.
1870s, 1880s, where this guy, Montague Redgrave, invented like the spring on the plunger. That was like revolutionary. And that's like where we I think it was 1869, where like that's where we're like, that's where pinball started. Of like, that's kind of the origins. But even then, it was like kind of like a small little square that you sort of prop on a table and just, it's a marble and you hit it and does whatever. It was like not even pinball as we know it today.
Right. No flippers.
No flippers. The first game with flippers was 1947.
Oh.
And that was Humpty Dumpty. And it was like, if you've ever played the game, it's kind of funky and it's like, the flippers don't really do shit. But like, it just kind of like was an innovation. And like now with the flippers, you can kind of do whatever you want. But it was like, a slow, steady of adding things as technology came out and being like, oh my God, we can add these to pinball games, you know? Like, that's really cool. Like, yeah.
What's the oldest pinball machine you guys have?
It is one from the 1880s.
That's old.
It's old, and it's like, we have it on the wall. No one can touch it because it's so old. But it is kind of like one of the original ones of like, because pinballers sort of define the age of pinball, modern pinball, with that plunger. So it was like just a very early one with that plunger, and you were able to like shoot the ball into the field, and like that's what made it pinball.
Yeah.
And but I kind of love some of these old games because if you like, we have a handful there at the museum. It's like if you look at them, those literal pins that are stuck in the board, and it like the ball bounces around through them, and you're just kind of like, oh. Pinball. Duh.
Yeah.
Like,
and then I'm sure when like the electronic part came out, is that when pinballs really kind of took off because of like the lights and bells and sounds and
there's definitely like kind of like the 30s, 40s. There was a lot of games coming out, and it was just like a lot of things of people like it was just like it would be kind of in soda shops or here or there, and some of them were a little shadier of like, you know, the back corner of a sex shop, you know, like, so, you know, there was some diciness, shadiness coming to it, but like, then it kind of died down where there was a lot of bans happening in pinball because it was like the associations of like these machines were being manufactured in like Chicago and this and that, where like the mob was and the mafia, so like, oh, that's bad. And like this was Prohibition era, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, like everything is the devil, right? And
so they were banning pinball machines?
It was Fiorello LaGuardia, who was the mayor of New York for the longest time. And I even wrote my undergrad thesis on him and the history of pinball. Of like, he is such a cool figure, and like he did a lot for New York. And like at the end of the day, the only thing I can fault him for was like his making pinball his number one enemy, you know?
It seems like such a weird thing to make your enemy.
I know. But it's like when like back in the day, it was kind of like obviously not like a slot machine, but it was kind of like that gambling, you can't control him. So he was like, oh, the kids are like hooked on pinball. They're skipping school. Like, we can't do this. And he banned it. And I always find it very ironic that Fiorello LaGuardia died about a month before Humpty Dumpty came out, which is the first game with flippers that kind of made it less gambling and luck or whatever. And it just kind of like the irony of like, oh, Ferrella, you never got to see how it like turned out.
Right.
Like, I understand how his era of pinball was like a lot more gambling and he'd be against it, but it's like, man, you never got to see what happened. You never got to see where we went, you know?
Right.
And a lot of places like kind of, because he was in New York, they banned it in New York, and there was this guy, Roger Sharp, in 1976, who kind of went to New York, played in, like, I think the Supreme Court even, or whatever, like, but played a game of pinball, and, like Babe Ruth it of, like, I'm gonna, like, this ball's gonna come out, I'm gonna hit it here, it's gonna come here, like, I'm gonna control the ball. And he did all he said, you know?
So he was showing the skill of it.
Yeah, the skill of it. And he's like, he was like, this isn't gambling anymore. Like, this is like actual skill, play, blah, blah, blah. And it became unbanned. And like, because New York had banned it, like a lot of cities followed suit, like including like Oakland and stuff. And
wow.
After the unban, like they unbanned it, like a lot of cities again followed suit with that. But one of the thing that makes me laugh is like it was also became one of those things where it was like technically on the law that like pinball's banned, blah blah blah, but like people just stopped enforcing it. And I think it was like 2017 or 2018 or something where Oakland finally took off the ban on pinball because they were like, I think they were looking through their books and they're like, what the hell is this law? Like
they're like, hey, you guys know that we could go arrest everyone for playing pinball?
Yeah, they're like, let's get rid of this. This is dumb, you know?
Thank God the administration didn't know about that law. They'd be using it right now.
Oh, good old administration. And even Alameda, like they never technically banned it. It was more so banned. Like, you can't pay to play pinball. So it was, like, one of those things of, like, you could have a pinball machine in your home, but, like, just set it on free play, and then you're following the law, right?
Yeah.
And that was how they...
So it was like pinballs were decriminalized.
Yeah. And they didn't get rid of...
You can't buy them and sell them, but you can have them.
Yeah. And, like, they didn't get rid of that until, like, 2014, and then you could start paying for it. And, like, that's how part of the model of the Pinball Museum came about, was, like... You weren't coming in and paying to play on the machines. You came in and paid an entry fee, right? Like a $5 entry fee or whatever. And it was, and then you get to play these for free. Because we opened 2002, so it was like before the ban got unbanned. So it was like, okay, we're following the law. They're just, donating $5 and then playing some pinball. Like they're not paying to
play pinball. Yeah, they're playing to come in the room, and then there just happens to be pinball. Oh, that's interesting. And that's like not that long ago.
No, 2014. That's when I graduated high school, which is like, how was it? This was banned my whole childhood. Like, this was.
And your dad's taking you there?
Yeah, no. Oh, Dad.
Your dad's a rebel.
Which is so funny because he's such the like most rule following guy, like in the best way, but you're like, he would not be committing crimes with you kind of guy.
He was like, I had no idea. Oh my gosh, I wonder how many people didn't know that they were breaking the law playing pinball or charging to play pinball.
Like, that's one of those things that I didn't know until I started working there, right?
Yeah.
Now that I'm in the know, like, oh my God.
Wow, that is so interesting. It seems like such a random thing to like ban.
It was so random. There was definitely part of it of like I get it. It was luck and whatever. I don't know why Ferrella LaGuardia was so obsessed with banning it, but he was. And
now every time you say his name, all I can think about is that the airport is named after this man, and he went after pinball.
I know.
Like, you had nothing else to do?
Like, literally, the rest of, like, honest to God, though, like, I was researching his life, and he did a lot of good stuff that has been canceled out by him banning pinball. Okay? I don't give a fuck if you, like, fed the poor and gave them, like, millions of dollars, you ban pinball. Like, get out of here.
Oh my God. You should make t-shirts. Like, I've played band pinball for most of my life or something.
Yeah.
I'm a pinball outlaw.
I love that. I'm a pinball outlaw. I do love that.
Oh my gosh. How many pinball machines do you guys have in the museum at one time? Because I know you have the annex, right?
Yes, we have the annex. So we have, I think, just over 100 that are playable. Because we also have a section of like maybe 15 games or so that like
are just
look only displays because they're just old and we don't want to fuck with that shit, right?
Yeah.
But like we have like over 100 that are playable in the museum. And then like combined with like our annex and with like our warehouse of just all these games, I think we have like 1,200, 1,300 games.
Oh wow.
Like our annex, our warehouse, like I don't get a chance to go out there much because I've like not my job, but like every time I get a chance to go in there, I just walk in. I'm just so amazed by like how full of spaces of like pinball games, because it's just like, oh my God, like I can't believe you can't believe it when you walk in there. Like it is, I cannot describe how cool it is. Like, and every time I go in, I feel like freaking Indiana Jones, just being like, oh my God, like I'm like exploring this like great beyond. Right.
So like, I know, when did pinball start to like really get on the pop culture stuff? Because I know like now, like so many pinball machines are after like, because it seemed like for a long time, and every time I think of pinball, I think of and you're probably too young for this reference, but there used to be a commercial, and it was like Schoolhouse Rock kind of vibe.
Oh my God, I love Schoolhouse Rock.
It was like the pinball machine, or it was like something now it's going to bother me, but it was like an 80s like cartoon basically that started off with a pinball. Ooh. It was like the plunger would come back and the pinball would go up and it would like bounce off things, and it was like I saw it probably every Saturday morning. I'm gonna have to find it when we put this episode out.
I want to know that. Like I want to know this. Yeah. This sounds cool.
And so like back then, like pinball was just like, the ding 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 and this and that. But then it started to be like there's all bands and movies and all of that stuff became pinball machines.
I think part of the like it was like it's had its waves of popularity. And like definitely like during the 30s. When it really, like, a lot of innovation where it was literally just, like, a table game, no glass on it, no nothing, and you're just kind of, like, whatever. And, like, they started building contraptions with, like,
the
actual boxes and, like, glass on it, and, like, it can stand on its own on the table. And, like, that was really popular in the 30s, and the bands happened, so it was less popular, kind of died down for a bit. And then, like, the 60s, 70s, it came back a lot.
People are just smoking weed, playing pinball.
Definitely. And, like, 1976 is when Roger Sharp turned around and kind of, like, proved that pinball is not what it used to be. And there was also, like, during that era, a lot of pop culture of, like, Fonzie, right? Like, he was the pinball guy, Like, oh, he's so cool, badass, like...
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I just flashed in my head, I could see Fonzie playing pinball. Wow.
And so, like, that was kind of an era, like, the 70s were really popular of, like, pinball was coming back, but then, the 80s, it got smashed because, arcade video games are in, and, like, that's
like
really
Atari
cool.
came out, right?
Yeah, Atari, a lot of, like, Nintendo doing the home stuff, like, So then it kind of died down again, but then it was like the 90s, it kind of became slightly popular again, and then kind of died down again. And I would say, like, it's had its kind of ups and downs, like, highs and lows, with like the 30s being really high, the 70s being really high. And I want to say, like, I think there's like slowly making its upward movement after Y2K, right? And I think like after COVID, I want to say like 2021, 2022, it kind of really, like, I even noticed because I was working at the pinball museum, like, made such a huge resurgence. And all of us working there kind of speculate that it's like we were all kind of stuck in our houses for a long time with no social interaction, not real in-person, genuine interaction.
Right.
And like, I think people really like went and like wanted community, wanted this and that. And like we have a league night that plays, they do seasons. So it's like, I think 12-week seasons in total. Okay. And then they take a couple week break. And like, we noticed our league was like exploding. It was like, if we had 18 people on a league night, that was busy night. And then now it's like, oh, if 40 people are showing up, that's a busy night. Like, we doubled. Like, it was like people really wanted to get out there and like really got into pinball. And it's just like so cool to like sit there and see like, oh my God, like this is like, it's just like incredible to see of like just like to all the people just like really getting back into it.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I've heard of the league now, because like I hang out with you occasionally, and then Tara May's husband likes to play pinball a lot. Like,
Jeff,
he's always talking about. Yeah, he's like, Tara May's like, oh, Jeff's over playing pinball, and I was like one night I was like, how much pinball can you play? And she was like, oh, you have no idea. I'm like, I really don't like. And I was like, I like have played pinball here and there and like but I'm terrible at it. So I think that's why I've been like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, this game is nothing. Like, there's no skill. Like, there's no. And then you see someone that knows how to play pinball, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, how do you learn that?
I just sit there and stare at them at the play field as they're playing, because I'm like, oh my God, like we are like, how did you do this?
Yeah.
And it's so funny you mentioned Tara May and Jeff, because it's like me and Tara May were friends first. But then Jeff kept coming a ton. That like now me and Tara May joke that like that's our husband. Yeah. Like we like because we see him just free as pinball. Much. Yeah.
He's like, hey, I brought you some presents. Can I get some pinball? Oh wow! Do you have a favorite pinball game?
My favorite. There's a couple of them. I think number one is this game called 4 Million BC, and it's from like the 70s, I want to say, and it's just like green. It's kind of a basic game, but it's got dinosaurs, and I just fucking love that shit, right? There's another one called Cactus Canyon, and it's like very Western theme, and like it's got a moving train, and you save the damsel in distress, and blah blah blah, and it's just kind of fun. It's like a hard game. You don't win a ton of points on it, but like I just love the thematic of it, like the themes and the fun. And then there's the Godzilla game that's came out in the past like 5 or 6 years, and that one's just hella fun too, because it's just like that one is like I'm better at it because I actually sort of know like the combo, like not all of them, but I know some of them. So like when I play it and get the combos, I feel really successful of being like, oh, I know how to play this game. Like I'm getting all the good points. I know where to get the multi-ball, you know? Like,
yeah, is there like an algorithm kind of that you can figure out for each pinball game?
There's definitely like, because you know, all the games, it's like kind of a video game. You can get combos, you can get multi-balls. Like if you hit all these bumpers or you hit go into this spot, you can get whatever bonus points. So like that's been my hardest thing about pinball, is that like we have just so many ding dang games that I'm like, how am I supposed to learn all the combos on all these games? Which is like I'm still practicing and learning, but
you need to come out with like a cheat sheet for each game. Like, do you remember, well, I don't know if you would remember, but like back in the day when Nintendo, they had like a magazine, and they would like put in different times, they would put in like the cheat codes for it. So it would tell you like, if you do like up, down, right, left, A, B, C, D, like you get this.
Yeah.
You should do one of those for pinball.
Yeah, there is definitely, like, I know.
I'm sure there's somewhere.
There is. Like, you can Google it and be like, Godzilla cheat codes, or like how to get this combo, or how to get this multi-ball. I may or may not have done that in a couple games of being like, I just want to defeat this dang thing. Like, how do I beat it up? Like, how do I beat this game?
Yeah. Are there people that are just always there? Like, I mean, I know Jeff goes a lot, but are there people that you're like, all right, you need a break from pinball? Like, you might be a little obsessed.
I'm kind of impressed of like, to be fair, I'm doing a lot of like remote work now just because I'm in grad school, because I'm so grateful they're working with me on that. But like Fridays through Saturday, it was like kind of generally you'd see the same people, but it was like a healthy amount where it was like you have a life, and I appreciate that. Like, but it's like one of those things where it's just like such a freaking fun hobby, right? Like that, like. Even if you're like terrible at pinball, like the Pinball Museum is like you pay the one-time flat entry fee, unless you're a member, and then it's like you paid for the year, right?
Right.
And then you get free play all day. So it's just kind of a fun, like, people will go and be like, even if it's just a couple hours, or like they leave being like, I feel like I practiced the hell out of pinball, you know?
Right. And it's a fun thing that's like not alcohol based, and it's not like screen based.
Yeah.
And you can be like chatting and playing pinball, but it's like distracting enough that like you're not staring at someone, where like it's probably a great date place.
Yeah. Oh, hella great date place. Like I love, like you see couples coming in, and like one of my favorite games I play with myself of being like, how many dates have you been on? How long have you been dating? Yep. Is this a first date? Is this a fifth date? You've been dating for 3 years? I love trying to like sit there and be like, so what? How long has this been happening?
Right.
And it's like also such a great family friendly place. Like we have a lot of people where this is again a pre-COVID, post-COVID thing where we used to host birthday parties, and then after COVID we were just like, F that shit. Like that's just like, we don't want to deal with cleaning, nitpickingly, all this stuff. But like people, we still offer discounts to the groups coming in, and they like Webster Street's got like 800 million amazing restaurants. So we're like, go somewhere on here and come back, like in and out, you got it. And it's just so cool to see like the date nights of people coming in, being all cute and romantic, but also like the families of like, you see a grandparent and a grandkid, or like a dad and a parent or whatever coming. I love the moms and their kids, where the mom was into pinball, and they just come in and like play and hang out for a few hours, and like regardless of the generation of people, like they all love the pinball and like want to come in and hang out, and it's just like so cool to like be witness to that, like and to like be a part of their joy and their fun and like their whatever.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so excited to come and hang out and like learn more about the pinballs.
Yeah.
And play and see if I can improve.
Yeah, that's it's kind of, it's one of the most embarrassing things is like, sometimes I hate saying I've worked there for over 6 years, because I'm like, I am a terrible pinball player, where I'm like, my lifelong work experience here does not translate to my pinball abilities, and that is one of the most embarrassing things ever. Like,
well, you're like in charge of learning it all and teaching people about the pinball machines, like, but is it hard? Like, do you guys have special guys that just know how to work on pinball machines? Like, it must be hard to like find parts or do things to when machines break.
Yeah, we definitely, like, everyone who's staffed there knows like kind of the bare minimum of like broken rubbers, of like, you know, oh, like we can kind of jerry rig this flipper back into working kind of thing. But we close every Monday, and that's like, no Mondays we're open, and that's specifically because we have this really amazing group of volunteers who come in, and they, like, all of their own free will and free time, without any pay, come in and like, if this front desk staff can't fix a game, like, we just put an out of order sign, write it up, and like this group on Mondays come in and just fix the games. They like have all this knowledge and power, and I'm like, I need to start going to these Monday nights, because I'm like, I want to like really absorb all your knowledge, because like it's amazing. I've been to a couple of the Monday night fix-its, and it's just like watching them just like nonchalantly like fix a game, and I'm like, I would have never freaking thought to do that. Like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, and it's really cool. Like, there's a really great group of guys who are going around like out of their own kindness and love for pinball, helping us out fixing these games, you know?
Well, yeah, and I'm sure because you guys are nonprofit, you don't have like a huge budget to be paying someone, or like having like a pinball fixer expert.
That is like, that's one of like, don't know if this is a behind the things secret I can share, but that's one of our complaints of like, we wish we could.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
have like one pinball engineer,
and like we could pay them, and like it's hard being a nonprofit, because it's like, even like month to month, like after COVID, like it kind of started increasing, but it's like still like, you know, the economy is bad now, so people aren't going out to pinball, and so we're all just kind of like, it makes it harder for us to be able to like,
yeah, well,
like,
and I'm sure after being closed for 15 months because of COVID, that put you guys in kind of the red for a while too. Like, to have no money coming in and paying rent and doing all of that. Like, anyone have a great bag of money they want to donate to the Pinball Museum, reach out. Like,
yeah, please do.
Yeah. Because it is like, it's one of America's kind of, Was pinball born in America then?
I think technically,
1800s.
Technically, its roots are in like France or whatever. But like, yeah, it is an American. It is an
I like
American.
the fact that you're air quoting and you're like, well,
technically,
technically it's a French, but who cares?
But like, it was Montague Redgrave who did the patent on the plunger that we call modern pinball. It was in America when he did that, and like, it is an American. Like, it's really cool. Has been some like European companies like kind of do stuff, but nothing on the scale that America has. Like, nothing. There is the closest thing I would say is in Japan. They have pachinko. And it's kind of, because like you've seen a pinball machine and it takes up a lot of space.
Right.
But kind of back in the day when we were only like a tabletop sort of thing, like Japan kind of took it, and I love Japan. It's really amazing. Like, but they don't got a lot of space. So they were like, let's take this and put it vertical and you can play it on a wall. And it's like kind of pinball on a wall. Oh. And like, that's what pachinko is. And which is really fun. It's really cool.
Every time you say pachinko, all I can think of is Plinko on, what is that? Price is Right.
Oh my God.
When they drop the thing down and it's like ting, ting, ting.
Basically came from pachinko, okay? So which basically came from pinball. So you're welcome, game shows. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, I was just, as soon as you said it, I was thinking about any time I've been in Europe, have I ever seen a pinball machine? And I don't think I have.
Yeah, like it's not as popular, but I do. Some of my, because like at the Pinball Museum, I love the variety of customers where there's hella locals, Alamedans who live and work in the walking distance, or like, I'm on a lunch break, I'm bored at home, let's go play pinball. There's a lot of people that are East Bay Area, but we also get a lot of people coming from like different states coming to visit us because they just like pinball or heard about us while they're in town. But we've also gotten like a good crew of like international folks.
Oh, wow.
Like there's been a lot of people from France who've come out to like play pinball. There's been, I remember like a lot of people from Italy to come out to play pinball, and they call it flippers over there.
Okay.
Which always just kind of makes me laugh, where I'm like, I totally get it, like, of, like, it's flippers, whatever, right. Like, you know, like, they got the flippers, but it just makes me laugh, because I'm like, it's pinball, but you call it flippers, but also that makes sense,
right.
You know?
You're like, I see where you could get it, not right, but I can see it.
It's like that whole, like, you know, when, like, the British people put, like, the letter U in color, and I'm like, listen, I get it, but also that's not correct. But also it's correct for you, so whatever. Right, yeah. It's not a big of a deal. But I'm also like, you kind of like look at it weird, and you're like, oh, actually that makes sense. I just need to process that for a minute. Like,
well, it's good to know that you're not a total pinball snob.
No, never. Because I'm too bad at playing pinball to be a snob. If my pinball skills were better, I would definitely be a pinball snob for sure.
Are there like elitist pinball players?
Honestly,
because I feel like it's such like a kind of a blue collar game. You know what I mean? Like it's the back of bars and restaurants and soda shops. Like
it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm certainly sure that there are like elitist, pretentious pinball players. But again, one of the things that I love about the Pinball Museum is like we have some like goddamn incredible players that play, like where I just like stare at them and I'm like, I saw this one guy who was playing the Godzilla pinball machine, and he got like 16, 17, 18 billion points on the game with the B.
Yeah. And
he beat the dang game, which is like near impossible. Like it got to the point where he hit all the goals and objectives and blah, 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 blah. And at one point the game was like, we literally have nothing else to offer you to play. Like, you've done it. You've done everything. Game over. And, like, so he's, like, a phenomenal people. And, like, or player. But he's also one of my favorite people because, like, just sitting there talking to him, you wouldn't know.
Right.
And he's one of those guys. Like, he's the sweetest freaking guy. I love him. I love talking to him. But we have our league nights. And, like, he's the guy where, like, many times he'll... Like, league night starts at 7, and he'll, like, we have a Facebook group for it, and he'll go and he's like, hey, on this week, I'm going to come at 6:30, and anyone that wants to, like, watch a tutorial on this game, I'll run a tutorial on this game. And he'll, like, teach people all the whatever. And it's like, so I'm sure there's, like, the pretentious fucking assholes out there in pinball world, but, like, what I love about the Pinball Museum and the community that has been created there is, like, yeah, we're talented, but we want to share this talented and teach other people how to be this good, you know? Like, they really want it, like, it is, I cannot really express how much the community there is, like, we are a community, we want to do this together, we just want to have fun, and, like,
it's like sharing the joy of pinball.
Yeah, and, like, there's so many people that, like, come to the league nights that, like, I just want to compete and play, but there's also, like, so many people who are like, I just wanted to get out of the house and have social interaction. And it's, like, such a nice balance, nice mix. And it's always fun to see the people who come in wanting to be competitive as fuck and then being like, oh, no, I'm just here for the social whatever. And then also the people who come in for the socialization and being like, wait, hold up, I want to be competitive about that. And it's fun. It's like kind of, it's like having a, like, I do not have children. And I feel like this is what, like, having a child would be like, of, like, watching them grow in their own fun and whatever, of, like.
Well, and it's also just full of joy. Like, it's just a joyous place. It sounds like a very joyous place to be because it's a place of fun.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's one of those things, like, I think, like, the worst days people are gonna have, like, they come in and they're already having the best day ever.
Right. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing I like too is that there's no physical prize. Like, when you go to most arcades, like, you're winning tickets and you're, like, trying to get some stupid thing. But with pinball, it's just the joy of the game.
Yeah, I do. Like, 95% of the people get it, but I kind of do love the, like, 10-year-olds that come in and they're like, so what prize do I get? And I'm just like, the best day of your life. And they're like, okay, sounds great, cool.
Yeah.
But, like, those are also the kids where I'm like, we have, like, scavenger hunts and, like, different little things. So if they're kind of pushing the prize angle, and I'm like, here's the deal. See the scavenger hunt, if you fill it out completely, both sides, and bring it back to me, I'll give you a little prize. And it's usually some, like, dollar little thing we sell from the gift shop. But, like, it is the best day ever for them if they get to do it. So it's like, very rarely do we get the, like, kid or the people that, like, want a prize and, like, want the, like, tickets or whatever. But, like, when we do get them, it's pretty easy to convince them of, like, hey, do this thing, and then you got a prize coming your way for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so sweet too that you guys do that so that you can, like, kind of help capture people that are, like, a little lost on it, or like someone like me. Like, I don't know anything about pinball. Like, I'll play pinball every once in a while when it's in the back of a bar or something, but it's not something I've ever been like, oh, I need to go play pinball.
Yeah, I definitely, like, was one of those people when I started where I'm like, I have played it, but I do not know anything besides fun about it. And, like, that's been a cool journey there too, of being like, oh, like, learning about it. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, I've enjoyed it so much that, like, within 6 months of working there and not knowing much about pinball, I was writing my undergraduate thesis on the history of pinball because, like, that's how much it captivated me and just so quickly.
Yeah. Do you think that you'll stay in pinball, or do you think well, wait, before I ask this next question, should we have a little more wine?
Yes.
All right. Now that we have some wine.
We're ready.
Yes. Well,
Part 2.
Yeah. My question was, I'm just going to pull that a little bit.
Yes.
Perfect. There we go. My question was going to be, like, do you think that you'll stay in pinball for a long time, or for, like, I mean, not forever, but, like, do you think eventually that you would go on to a different type of museum?
I think so. And it's kind of one of those bittersweet things to say, because, like, I love the Pinball Museum, and I started working there when I was 23.
Right.
And it's, like, one of those things you look at, like, when I started there, I was still in my undergrad program. I was still living with my parents. I was, like, all this stuff. And now, almost 6.5 years later, I've graduated. I'm starting going in a master's program. I moved out of my parents' house. Like, experienced so much life that it's like one of those things of like, you know, in a fantasy world, I would love to be there forever, but also like, you know, realistically, I probably wouldn't, you know. But like, I am ultimately so grateful for all the things that like the Pinball Museum has believed in me.
Right.
You know, the people there has believed in me, given me the chances to do so many cool things and like so much experience and like developing exhibits, developing like educational material. Like I am so grateful for all of that, but like I also know ultimately that like I don't know, maybe selfishly, egotistically, I'm like there's more out there for me.
Right. Yeah.
And also one of the things of, you know, I have to do an internship for like my grad program, and then I'm like, I know realistically I would not be able to do
the Pinball Museum
both at the same time because it would just be too overwhelming for me, you know, of like all of this work or whatever. That I'm like low-key dreading the day that I have to like, I don't know, like it's just like bittersweet, you know, where I'm like, I would love to be here forever and I'm so grateful for everything you guys have given to me, but I also know at the end of the day, eventually I'm gonna have to move on. And with that, like, because I was thinking about it of, like, when I entered this program, and, like, throughout my first semester, I've still got 3 more to go, but it was, like, one of those things of, like, where would I go after this? And, like, I would love, like, because, like, again, it was, like, places like Pompeii and Venice and the Newport mansions that, like, really were my... This is what I want to do.
Right.
Do for the rest of my life.
You
and like I'm so grateful for everything pinball's done for me. But I also know realistically, like I would love to move to like someplace like New York or Chicago or Philly or even Boston.
Have you experienced winters?
Yes. Okay. Yes. I lived in Nevada. I lived in Reno, Nevada for 2.5 years. So I've gotten my winter ice slip.
Okay.
Kind of chaoticness through, you know, will I be hiring someone to like, you know, snow shovel my driveway? Probably, because that scares me, the thought. But like, it's like, it is one of those things of like, eventually, like I would love to go, because like I've done so much at the Pinball Museum and I don't want to say I've like outgrown them, but it's like,
well, eventually you will.
Like, yeah.
If you haven't yet, you eventually will, because I mean,
I've like touched so many aspects of what is going on there.
Well, and not like to no like shade towards pinball, but like there has to be like a point where you just stop learning, because like how much more technology is going to go into a pinball machine, you know? Like now it seems like, because anything that's like too like, you need to have like the physical of the pinball machine. Like that's what makes it pinball, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can't really play. I mean, you can play pinball on your phone. I'm sure there's some like virtual game.
Yeah,
but it's not the same.
Start in the 70s. What's the next guided tour working on? What's this part of it? But it is like and it's also like I played pinball as a kid, but it was never like I love pinball forever and ever. It was just something like you casually do. Like you casually play with Pokemon cards with your friends, right? And so it's like I definitely like my dream museum to work at is actually the Autry Museum of the West in LA.
What is that museum about?
And it is so Gene Autry, who's, you know, Western King, right?
I don't know who he is. I'm sorry.
Siobhan! Okay, I don't know if we can be friends anymore. Just kidding. But it is like kind of a cowboy Western museum about a lot about like the Western, you know, west side of the Mississippi, like a lot about cowboys, a lot about Gene Autry, and like a lot of his costumes, sparkly, fun. He's kind of like a singer, actor guy.
I probably know, like, if I saw him, but I'm terrible at names. I'm terrible, like...
That's fair.
With, like, singer-songwriters. Like, people will ask me if I know a song, and I'm like, no.
He's also a little bit older generation. I think he was, like... Don't fact check me, because I do not have all everything.
Yeah, we don't do that on this podcast.
Good. But it was like, I think he was more like 60s, 70s kind of era. Like he's a little bit of an older figure, but like he has since passed, and it was like his family foundation, all that stuff, like built this museum. I just like, I like growing up, like, it's like that weird dichotomy of like, yes, I was born in like Pennsylvania, and yes, I like moved out here when I was 7 months old, so I was basically born and raised here.
Right.
But it's like we went back to the East Coast almost every year, like most years. So it was like that. It
You have a connection to it, yeah.
Yeah, like that weird, like, of, oh, I'm like an East Coaster, kind of. But like, I've always like growing up felt like I had to validate myself as a Californian to everybody.
Oh, interesting.
Of like, people were like, oh, you weren't born here, so you're not a Californian.
Get out of my face.
Grown up. But then it was like, when I turned about 25, people were like, oh, you grew up here. Like, you grew up here, you came here at 7, you're a Californian.
Right.
So I was like, where did this tune suddenly change? Like, how did this tune change so fast?
You're like getting ready to defend yourself, and they're like, "Oh, so you're Californian?" And you're like, "Yeah.
Thanks for agreeing with me, bitch." Like, yeah, totally.
You're like, yeah. Well, sometimes like people, I kind of get like that with Boston because people are like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Boston." And they're like, "But where?" And I'm like, "Boston." And like, they're like, "But what part?" And I'm like, "This city." And they're like, "The city itself?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And they're like, what part? I'm like, oh, my West Roxbury. I'm like, but I also like spend a lot of time in Jamaica Plain and High Park, and like I grew up in Fenway. Like I started cocktailing there. Like I'm like, I grew up in the city. Like I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
All of it. Like, yeah.
And I feel like I have to like defend myself, and then they'll be like, oh, I don't know where that is. And I'm like, oh, have you been there? And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, what am I fucking like giving you my fucking
like, shut the fuck
for?
up and get out of my face.
Yeah, I'm like, my ex-husband used to make a joke all the time, like I wasn't really from Boston, and I was like, who shows up? If I call the police, who shows up? And he's like, oh, well, I mean the Boston Police Department. I'm like, so did I not live in Boston? Like, I'm like, what the like? You
fighting words, man. Like,
yeah, and
no.
Like every once in a while, meet someone and they'll be like, oh yeah, no, I'm from Boston. I'm like, oh really? Me too. Like what part? And like they'll tell me like somewhere outside the city, and I'm like, yeah, that's not Boston. And they're like, oh yeah, you are. I'm like, yeah, I am. Like I grew like my parents have never lived outside of the city of Boston.
Oh my God.
Parents lived 5 miles from where they grew up. Like they grew up in Jamaica Plain and they live in West Roxbury. Like that's where like they've never had an address that wasn't the city of Boston.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how much more. Like my grandmother's from there. Like I'm like, I don't know how much more you want me to be from there. Like my brother's a Boston fireman, has been since we were in our he was in his 20s. Like I don't know what you want me to do.
Oh my God.
And then other people,
so
I'm just like, go fuck yourself. I don't know what to tell you.
So real. Which is one of those things where like, why do I have to defend this? But it was like I became obsessed with California history because of it. Of like this weird self-protection of like, I'm going to prove to you I'm Californian, even though I've lived here since I was 7 months old.
Yep.
Which I'm like basically 29 years. It was all because my dad came out. I
love that right now you're like defending while you're still.
Yeah, I'm going to defend it. My dad came out September 9th, because I was born March 1996. And my dad came out September 1996. He kind of came out first to kind of establish, because like it was his job that brought him out. So he was like, let me just get everything set up.
Yeah.
And also low-key, I haven't discussed this with my mom, but I think part of it is that I have a cousin who's 5 months older than me, so her birthday's in October. And I never confirmed this, but I low-key think that like the reason why we moved out later was like she wanted to be there for her first birthday, you know?
Oh, that's cute.
Which I love.
I thought you were going to go somewhere way darker with that.
No. But I think it was like, I think she wanted to stay like for that. Like it was the first grandkid on that side, 5 months older than me. Like it makes sense.
Yeah, that's really a sweet thing.
Yeah.
It tells you how dark I am that I was like, oh, this is a family secret we probably shouldn't share. And then you're like, my mom wanted to be there for her sister.
Thankfully, the only dark family secrets in my family stem from me, so we don't need to get into that. I am the...
Is it your love of pinball?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm just the chaotic ticking time bomb, for sure. I'm also like the weird artsy fartsy kid in my family, which is funny, because like, I love my family, but they're all like engineers or finance or computer science or like, you know, business or nurses, and like really all incredibly great jobs, but all very science-based jobs.
Yeah.
And I am the history major. I am the museum studies person. I am the...
You're the arts and culture of the family.
Yeah.
I think that's a strong fucking thing to be in your family. Like, they all need you, because art and history changes everything, right? Like,
it is.
You need to know your history so you can't repeat. You don't repeat it. I mean...
Which is like kind
of
one of those things where it's like that part of the reason why I was so ready to get into a master's program. And what kind of triggered that thought was, oh, damn, motherfucking Orange Potato is our person again. Like, for me, it's a little bit like, I always kind of want it to be some historian sphere sort of whatever. And it was like one of those things of like, I'm going to remember this, and I'm going to be part of the people who like document this and remember this and put it on display to remember all our goddamn crimes.
Right.
You know, like I don't know. It's just important to me that like we are very much in a repeating ourselves sort of era right now. And I'm like, I still don't know the solution, but like, it's like, I'm like, I want to sit here and document this and be part of like remembering this.
Right. So it doesn't happen again.
Yeah. Like, because that shit pisses me off.
Yeah, the world is a dumpster fire. And that's why one of the things like I was so excited to talk to you about was pinball, because like it's something I don't know about. It's the fact that I live and walk by this pinball museum all the time, and it is like a place of joy. And like part of my resistance and part of like what I want to do with the pod and with community is like finding the point of joy and celebrating it, because I think joy is a resistance. I think building community is a resistance. I think finding the things that keep us off our phones and connected to each other is like the whole point.
And like that in the years that I have worked at the Pinball Museum, I feel like it's one of those things, like the first 6 months, because I started September 2019 and 6 months later COVID happened. So it's like, that first 6 months was obviously me being like, am I doing a good job? Like, am I doing my job right? Like, I don't remember much from that era, but it was like we shut down and came back, and it was watching more and more people come through, more people looking and desiring for that community, for that joy, and watching them find it at the museum. Like, that has been genuinely one of my favorite things. Like, there's been so many great things about working there, but that's been one of my favorite things, of just people really, like, finding their community of people, like, finding... Honestly, none of them are weirdos, but, like, that whole finding my fellow weirdo kind of thing, where... They're all, and like,
I hope they are all weirdos. Like, I want to take back weirdos. Yeah, like,
I hope we are all weirdos.
I like collect weirdos. Like, I like love someone that has a passion. Like, give me someone that's a little weird, and I find them so much more interesting than someone that's gonna like wear a bunch of beige and like. I'm not about it. Like,
and like,
I
this
can't.
is such a group of people who are just finding their joy and finding their connection. I'm like it's just so great to be like part of that. And like, no matter which museum I go to or where I go in life, because like, you know, who the hell knows where I'm going to be, but like, that's what, like, ultimately at the end of the day is preserving the history, preserving and like remembering, but also helping people to bring in the joy.
Yeah.
And like, so I only took two classes in my last semester because overwhelm. And one of them was an exhibition design, which was so cool because like we built exhibits, took them down. Like, it was really cool to learn how to pack them, how to carefully like arrange them, and like, you know, you gotta like make sure everything's on the center line and evenly spaced. But the other one was the history and organization of museums, and like that was cool on its own, of just like through many centuries of like, you know, even way back 1700s, 1800s, like how are museums, whatever, like how, like, kind of just like facilitating this culture of like community and stuff, of like, and like, I just, at the end of the day, like, no matter where, like, whatever happens to me, like, that's what I want to be a part of like this community. And like a lot of the conversations we had in the class was like, you know, talking about like if we're offering information in a museum about, say, indigenous culture or slavery, or, you know, and all the fucked up shit we did to those people, of like, how can we bring in people from that community to the museum? And like, you know, where it's like a lot of like, if we're gonna do an exhibit, it would be like about indigenous art, like, you know, all these indigenous artists or black artists. Or if we're gonna like do an exhibit about slavery, like bringing people in, like the public programming aspect of it, of like bringing in people to do workshops on like, you know, kind of these historically, culturally, like, you know, Black and slavery community like crafts or like indigenous crafts and like stuff like how can we incorporate that? And like for me that's like really cool on its own of being like, okay, like I just want to be like, I want everyone to learn love. Like I feel like, you know, there's so many like so many cultures around the world, and it's like, how can we all like learn from it and appreciate it without like appropriating it, you know? Yeah. And like that balance, and it's just like that's what I want to do. Like that at the end of the day, like what I want to do is like, how can we really appreciate all these cultures, learn from all these cultures, and celebrate them? Like that's my dream of like, it doesn't matter where I land.
Yeah, no, you'll bring the pinball passion to wherever you go, I think. Yeah. And I love that like it started with pinball.
God, I'm so grateful that it started with pinball. Imagine if it was some nerdy shit like art. No, just kidding. I love art museums. Like the like SF MoMA, the Asian Art Museum are some of my favorite museums because it's just so amazing to see like all of these like modern art or like Asian art, like the like culture of like the different like art from Japan or China or Korea or Vietnam. Like it's amazing, but it's just also like I want everyone to experience it and love it and be indulgent in it, you know?
Right. Well, yeah, because I imagine like you're going to school for something that can easily become so pretentious, because museums can be pretentious, and I think, you know, and they can be very snobby, you know, like, and very... pretentious is the best word I'm going to use.
No, I 100% agree with that, though.
You know, and I think like pinball gives you the opportunity to learn it without any pretentiousness, because it's hard to be pretentious about a pinball game.
Yeah,
you know
100%.
What I mean? Like it's a game. It's a game.
And like what I love about like the Pinball Museum, it's just kind of like all are welcome. We're all motherfucking dorks. Mm-hmm. And we all love being freaking dorks together. Like, and like, that's what I love about that place. Because it's this shared passion, this shared love, this shared like community of like, we all are into this thing. And like, I cannot tell you how exponentially my love for pinball has been starting to work there, where it's like, I love pinball like 800 million times more now because I've worked there, where it's like before it was just some passive like, I was an arcade kid, so it was like you drop us off at Dave and Buster's and I'm good for the afternoon, you know? Yeah. I'm like, sure, I'd play a pinball game, but I'd also play Pac-Man and this and that, or whatever game I think is going to give me most tickets. That's how I went.
You're like, I really need that eraser for 4,000 tickets.
Yeah. I really want like, you know, some really shitty candy for too many tickets.
You're like, that mood ring is mine.
Literally, I'm telling you, I went over this past summer, we went to my whole family went to the East Coast. My cousin was getting married, and then like in Maryland, and then we went down to the Jersey Shore the week after, because we're like, we're already on the East Coast, why the fuck not? And me and my sisters and went to the arcade one evening, and it was like literally us sitting there discussing, okay, like, what games do we play? I am nearly fucking 30 and I'm sitting here discussing what games do we get for the tickets, and then we get to the ticket counter and we're like all honing in, putting our tickets together of like, could we get this? And I'm like, it doesn't escape you at 30. It does not escape you.
I was last summer or 2 summers ago, I was on the East Coast too, because, you know, and I was visiting with my brother and his kids, and we took these kids to the arcade, and I was like killing it on skee ball, because skee ball is my fucking game, and I won so many tickets. And my niece was like, Chevy, because they call me Chevy, Chevy, can I have those tickets? And I was like, and I had to like stop myself, and I was like, yeah, of course you can. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not even gonna get a prize. And I was like, I reverted to like a 13-year-old so fast, where I was like, fuck no, you can't have my tickets. Like, fucking learn skee ball on your own, kid. Like, I like reverted so fast, and I was like, all right, take a breath. Like, I'm like, yeah, of course, babe. Here's all my tickets. Like, what are you gonna get? And then like she was picking out stuff, and I was like, like judging this like 9-year-old's like choices, and I was like, oh my god, I can go play arcade games whenever I want to because I'm an adult, and I am right now mad at my 9-year-old niece because I don't like the prizes that she's picking up with my tickets.
Oh my god! See, that's how I know you're a better man than me, because if I have a couple cousins that are younger and I love them to death, but if you're in an arcade and they ask for my tickets, I would fight them in the parking lot.
Well, those are your cousins. That's different. This is my niece. Like, she's
fair.
like, you know, she's my goddaughter. Like, she gets all my shit. Like, her and my nephew get all my shit when I die. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have kids that I call. My sister-in-law is so nice that she lets me call them my kids. Like, I'm like, all right, what are my kids doing? You know, like, they get all my shit. Like, eventually.
I feel like there's a little bit of like an aunt and uncle special where you are allowed to, you know, call them your kids. Like,
oh yeah. Well, but like yeah, like I'll be like the first time I saw them walking down the street, like unsupervised, I called my brother and I was like, "Why the fuck are my kids walking?
They're gonna
like,
get kidnapped!
Like, they're gonna." And he was like, "Calm down." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. Those are my kids." Like, you know, and like they're so gracious to me to like let me be a crazy aunt
oh
like
my
that.
God. One of my favorite aunts is like, she's single, doesn't have any kids of her own, but like it's like we all know we're her kid, you know, like it is. We are hers and she is ours, you know?
Yeah.
And like, even like my godparents, where I'm like, they have their own kids, but like, I know, like, at the end of the day, if I called them up, they would fight a bitch for me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I got
that's
my
how it
back.
should be.
And that's like, we are your kids. That's why I know I could call you up, because you're not technically my mom or my dad, but you, on some level, you are.
Yeah. And I think that's what it all should be. I mean, I always hope people have that. And I know that, like, we are blessed to have it because not everyone does.
I know.
But that's my wish for everyone, is to have, like, an auntie.
I am kind of salty because I've got 2 sisters and none of us totally want kids. But I'm also, like, selfishly, like, I think I just need one of you to have kids so I have someone to spoil. I don't want to raise them, but like whatever.
Yeah.
But like none of us want it, and I'm gonna respect that.
But you're all still young, so you're all still young.
But
You're the oldest, and you're not 30 yet.
Where I'm like, okay, I need to start making friends with people who have kids, so I can like get comfortable with me, and then I can spoil their kids. Because I'm like, I'm not going to try to pressure my sisters into anything, but also, I need a niece to spoil. Okay.
Well, you can always adopt or foster, or like boys and girls clubs. Great place to pick up like a little sister kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's ways to do it, and there's ways to figure it out and make it happen.
You know what? It's funny you mentioned that, because like one thing that I've always found was interesting was, grew up in Alameda, and in high school, a weird number of my friends were foreign exchange students.
Oh, interesting.
And like we had like a ton of foreign exchange students at our school, which was awesome. Like culturally learning whatever. That I'm like, even if I don't want to have kids, like hosting a foreign exchange students for a semester, a year would be awesome.
Oh,
like, you know?
I have an aunt who is actually also single, has no kids, and she has not only traveled the whole world, like she's been to every continent every continent. She's been to so many different countries.
That's bucket list.
Yep. But she hosts students. She lives in Boston, and she hosts students that come to usually. I think it started because she got like hooked up to like the English speaking school, and then but she over the years like has always had different students staying with her, and so like I've like a whole subset of like cousins in quotes that like are from all over the world that like lived with her for a semester or sometimes a year or 2 years, or like, and they became like her kids, and so she has like these like adopted kids that now live all over the world. Like she's got kids in Saudi and in Brazil and all over the place. And then it's been great. And so like I grew up with that. So for me, like that was just a normal thing that like you have some kid come live in your house that you can't really talk to.
Yeah. That's kind of low key my dream of like, that would be awesome. And like, I also work at the Pinball Museum. Like I do work at the Pinball Museum, but I also do some in-home caregiving just because bills, right? Yeah. And one of the clients I work with right now, she's like an older lady. She's about to turn 91, and she is anxious about it. I'm like, bitch, you're 91. That's amazing. But I remember like sometimes we talk about like how she used to like host foreign exchange students. And like, I just love sitting there and like asking every single fucking question I can. Because I'm like, that is so freaking cool, bro. Like she grew up, lived in like South Bend, Indiana, most of her life. So it was like a lot of like the college students, they would kind of host, and it was like while you're in college or whatever. And I'm like, you're so fucking cool for that, bitch. Like, I love you for that. Like, you are inspiring me right now. I love you.
Yeah. Like I always say, eventually, like when I have like, my big house and whatever, I would definitely probably either foster or adopt if or something like that, where I'd be like, oh, okay, like come in, or like artist in residence kids, or like kids that need like just support or something like that. Like that's eventually one of my goals, is like once I have like a big piece of property and I'm doing all that kind of stuff.
That's one of my goals, where like something I've always been kind of interested in. It's like, I know I can work for this, blah, 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 but I'm only barely 30, that like I know I've got a whole life ahead of me. But it's like, so I call it my lotto fantasies, right?
Oh, I love it.
Where it's like, I would love, like, if I won the lottery and had like $100 million billion, like I would love to start like a program or whatever for like kids aging out of the foster system, for them to like have a place to land and be like, you can live here and we're gonna get you a job and you're gonna be able to whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, I just feel like that would be just an amazing way to give back to the world that has given me so much,
I love that. All right, so I could keep talking to you all night, but we both have things we have to go do.
Yes.
So thank you so much for sharing this.
God.
Like, this was so much fun. I learned so much, and I'm glad I've waited to go to the Pinball Museum now, because now I'm going to go in with a better appreciation of it.
I'm glad.
And I'm going to do the tour, and I'll do the tour before this comes out so I can post all of it when this comes out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And February 15th,
yeah,
you can show
Galentine's
up. Whatever.
At the Pinball Museum.
Yes, show up and you can play.
All
and,
right.
I feel like I'm like, 5 minutes has passed. I'm such a yapper. I love yapping about my life. So I'm like, have we really been talking that long?
Yeah, we have. And it doesn't feel like that long. But thank you so much, Brianna.
Of course.
And anyone that's in Alameda or is close by, come see us or come see Brianna at the Pinball Museum. If you have a big bag of money and you want to donate to the Pinball Museum, reach out.
We appreciate it as a nonprofit. We are just trying to survive and bring joy to the people. So if you want to support that mission, please do so.
Yeah. And as always, y'all, thanks for listening, and go find some joy today. Bye.